Q-tip, and then you send it in, and that's that. And it's really easy to do it now. So.
And so talk to me about that day that they called you or they, contacted you and said, we need you.
Mm-hmm.
What went through your mind?
Well, I got a call before Hannah's saying that I would be a match for bone marrow transplant, and I went there and they explained that to me, and but I wasn't a perfect match, therefore I wasn't taken just before Hannah. And when Hannah's call came, I was a bit more prepared for that, and they ask you all the way, step by step, if you want to do it, because of legal reasons, of course, but every step of the way, whenever you do a further step with testing and things like that, they ask you, and ask you if you want to do it. So, but from the beginning, I was like, yeah, don't have to ask me anymore, I will do it.
So there was never any question in your mind?
No, why? Why would you not do it? I mean, look at your hands.
And do they, when they contact you, do they just say, we have somebody, or did you have any idea who it was going to? Do they say it's a 9-year-old girl? I mean,
no. Well, back then she was 6 years
okay.
old. Well, actually 5 years old. She turned 6 years after her transplant. But you don't get to know anything because of legal reasons, of course, the protection of both parties. And yeah, so I didn't know anything. I just knew it was a little girl somewhere, probably the United States.
And was there ever a question in your mind that you wanted to meet her someday?
Yes. So I wanted to meet her, of course. But in Germany there's a 2-year, sort of period where you don't get to know the detailed information, so no names, no place where you stay, no age, nothing, except for you can send letters back and forth through the agencies, through Be The Match and your doctors, but it needs to be anonymous, and that's really hard to do if you don't know the person that you're going to write to.
Mm-hmm. Why do it? What's in it for you?
Nothing and everything. It's that's a difficult question actually, because to me it was just 4.5 hours on a chair, lying there. Maybe you've seen the pictures before, and that was it. It's about the same as going shopping for groceries or for a pair of shoes or something like that, and so it's not a big deal for me. But for Hannah it was everything. It was a chance for being a little girl, being an adult, being a grown up, and that's maybe what it's all about, and what's worth it, to sit here next to Hannah, to be part of this family, and it's amazing.
Are you part of this family now? You feel that way?
Yes, definitely.
What's been the best part about this whole process?
Well, probably this week being here, seeing that Hannah is healthy and well, and she gets to be a 9-year-old. That's probably it. It's hard to put in words though, because before you, even when we were first in contact, I got to read the care pages of Hannah through the whole process, and even though I knew the outcome, I was still going day 16 after the transplant, 100% engraftment, and I was like, yes! and it's hard if you're not part of it or haven't gone through it. Even now, I would say I grasp only 5% of the whole picture, and she's awesome. Right?
What do you say to people watching tonight? The importance of getting on this registry.
Get on the registry now. It's super easy. It's nothing. Even the stem cell apheresis that I did, it's basically sort of like a dialysis, and it's really easy. It's just 2 needles, and it takes about 4 hours, and it's not painful. Only 10% of the cases would be a real bone marrow thing, and it's the little drop that you put into it makes an ocean of a difference. That's what I probably would say.
Do the numbers throw you for a loop, you know, that of the 14 million people in the registry, that you know, you were the only one?
Yeah, it's a bit crazy.
Why is that crazy? What?
Well, you know, you live in a country of 80 million people, and in Germany, and in Holland it's 17. So well, if you put it in that way, I would be the only one in Holland to do something. That's crazy, right? So, and America and the whole world should get registered. This should be normal. You know, I've been treated like a hero, and I don't really feel like that, because to me it was just, you know, a little thing. I see what the result is and what huge difference it made, but to me it was just a little thing, and I'd say it should be normal, and that's why everybody should get on the registry.
Yeah, you know, you think when you hear there's 14 million people, you think, oh, well, it must be easy to find somebody, but then you think if there's a world population of, you know, 6 billion people, 14 million is nothing, you know. Does that, you know, what do you think about that?
I think I didn't understand the question.
Well, you know, in kind of there's really, if you think about it, such a small percentage of people who are on this registry versus,
yeah.
you know, does it, and maybe angry is too strong of a word, but does it frustrate you that more people aren't on this registry?
Well, I do understand why people are not on the registry, because the whole picture and the image and the frightenment that you might have to get on it, so like, oh my god, they're going to take my hip out or something like that, they're going to take my foot. That's probably what people think and why they're not on the registry. And so it's understandable why people wouldn't choose it, but that's why we need to do more and tell people that it's not that big a deal to do it. And but it is frustrating to see that it's only 14 million people where there's a match for one girl.
And just kind of to wrap things up, you know, is there anything that we haven't covered with either one of you that you want to put out there or say, you know, to the other one, you know, just kind of wrap things up? Hannah, you got anything else you want to throw out there? You know, what do you say to Patrick?
I'm very happy that he saved my life.
I'm very happy you live.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that you would be able to impact somebody's life like this?
No, never.
Do you think about maybe if they'd asked you that day if you wanted to be on the registry and you said no?
Well, in hindsight, I couldn't imagine that. You know, it's basically like if you go by and somebody's drowning, you don't just walk away and say whatever, right? So
that was great. Thanks so much for doing